Alright guys, I am back with part 2. So now we're going to go over everything that you need to do in-game while you set everything up right after you first download Licentia Black. The game is currently starting up. It takes it a little bit to get going on my PC. If it does on yours, don't worry. When it starts the music like this, you are good to go, and it pops up the little stuff down here. So if your Skyrim does not look like this, then it is not installed properly, but if you got this far, you're probably here. So we are going to click New Game. So there are several things that you do once you create a new character. So you can choose your male or female, all that good stuff. You can choose your race, everything here, all that stuff. You can undress them. I'm not going to do that on the stream, but you can take that off. If you are playing on Licentia Safe, they should have underwear on underneath this, but I'm not 100% positive. Don't hold me to that. You can change everything here exactly how you want it, all that good stuff. There's tons of hairstyles to choose from. I love this one. It's really freaking good. It's got tons of hair colors to choose from, and one big improvement between this and regular Licentia is I do not remember that you could change the actual color of their hair. I could be wrong, but you have tons of choices here and so on and so forth. Pretty much everything the same. The only thing that is different is body paints and whatnot. If you go to choose textures anymore, there is not the, let's see, where do you go to do this? There's not the same setup for all of the paints that you had before. You do have a nice variety of them, but you don't have the presets. That's what I'm going for, is you don't have the character presets. You have to add all these in manually yourself, which is not a problem. Most people like to create their own character anyways, but some people used to like doing their own presets. There's not, the presets here are not worth even looking at, so I'm not even going to show them like I did in the last one. The last one there was lots. This one, presets, if you load the presets, you have these in here, but they don't work nearly as good as they did in the previous one. So we have a Bosmer female. Let's just try a Breton female. Let's go ahead and try it. I mean, I'm just not enthused with the way that they come out here, the presets. So I would just go ahead and skip them wholeheartedly because it just messes everything up. Personally, for some reason those didn't come through very well. So I just go ahead and skip that stuff. But let's say that our character is good to go, all that good stuff. Just can't even look at the hair like that. So if you're like me, you can't stand the hair, and we're gonna call her Big Eyes. So yeah, the T-pose thing that you just saw go away, that is perfectly normal. There's nothing wrong with the dodges or anything like that. Go ahead and hit accept. Now do not touch anything here. Let everything run. This is also in the readme. When it says re-equip, you can hit OK. You do not touch anything until the fertility mode question appears on the screen. This is in the instructions from the GitHub Licentia Black website with everything that the creator put in there. I will link that in the description of this video so that way you can pull this up and do it at the exact same time. If I can figure out how to do that. If not, I will at least put the link as a paste in there. So this is fertility mode. If you're a male, you don't even have to worry about it unless you want to try to have children with females. If you're a female, here's the things you want to do. You're going to hit yes if you want it, no if you don't, obviously. I continue to let everything run until it is completely done up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Now, if you're not careful and you're streaming the first time and you are not on safe, you can accidentally show your character because they're not wearing clothes. So you want to put your clothes back on. Once Triumvirate enters the world, you're pretty close to being done with everything. There we go. Legacy of the Dragonborn is the last one. So, you're all set to go. You have everything ready to rock. And now there's the things that we can change. You want to go into your mod configuration, and you have a few settings that you need to do to enhance your long-term play. Not that. You're going to go to the fertility mode. You're going to go to settings page 1. You are going to check player only. And then you are going to say randomly inseminate PCs. No. That is the main thing you're going to do. Then you're going to go to settings page 2. And then you're going to go to show verbose messages. No. And show cycle widget. These will not show up. This one will not show up if you are a male. The show cycle widget, you don't have to turn this one on or off. It won't be there if you're a male character. But the verbose messages is basically everything up in the corner of the screen that says what's happening in the world, which is completely unnecessary. And then the show cycle widget, this one's preference. The mod list creator says to uncheck it. I don't see why to have it checked. You can just go ahead and take that off. Now that one's all set to go. Forgot my controls for a while. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I played. Okay, now we need to go back into the MCM menu and go to Diverse Dragons. You need to go to Dragons. There are a few that we need to take off. Nether Dragon, unclick. Sanguine Dragon, unclick. And Vile Dragon, unclick. You must take those off for things to work properly. Now, right. So, all of that stuff is there and working fine now. We do have a few things to go over before you start. It is highly, highly, highly recommended that you run one of these for your gameplay. Go to your MCM recorder. So you can say these three here. I want it fun. I want it hard. Those ones you have to choose. There's say cancel. So MCM recording shortcuts. So you must choose one of these to have everything set up the way it is supposed to be. So you want to say I want it fun, I want it hard, or I want it immersive. I believe you have to have one of these two. So I usually go with I want it fun because I want it hard it messes with bandits and then Genesis Unleashed, which if you do the hard one, it puts 30 bandits outside and a ton that can just spawn inside and spawn on top of you. It's crazy. So I want it fun. And that means you can always go into Genesis and change the options after you do this and change the number of dungeon spawns from 1. I usually put this up to 3 or 4, so that way I have a few inside. And then for Obis, I go back into Obis and it's already enabled, but I usually change this to 3 or 4 as well. If you do 5, it automatically bumps the internal inside and outside maximum to 10. So that's completely up to you. If you want 30, you can just do the I want it hard and you can create yourself as hard as you want. That's totally fine. So once that is run, then it is also recommended that you run either I want it immersive or I want it slutty. The Futa is only used with Caden. So if you don't want this, if you want this or anything, you need to put the Caden profile on like I showed in my previous video. Otherwise, don't mess with these. It doesn't do anything. So I wanted immersive. Takes a lot of the normal things that you have. Like we can look at this and see exactly what is being run. Cat's Life, Apocalypse, Lichdom, Genesis, iHarvest. So this does a lot of good gameplay add-on for you. And if you want the I Want It Slooty, it does all of the certain sex things that automatically turn on to where you can have trainers, this, that, and the other, slap the butt, all sorts of crazy stuff. So you can do either one of those to add to your immersion levels for the game. Now, once you have that set, you are ready to rock and roll. It does change certain key bindings. So if you want, I know that people like their physics, instead of the physics hotkey being all the normal stuff, NPC physics is F11, player is F10. So F10 obviously puts the physics in. Now, if you go to O body, that is, the pre-list key is 0 instead of O, I believe, because O doesn't do anything. Oh, O is the right one. So this changes your looks. These ones here are pretty immersive. There's a few of them that are kind of crazy, but overall they are very well shaped and everything like that for your character. So I do very well recommend it. And whatnot there. You have your dodges. It's super easy, no script lag, still 60 frames, no problems. Your jumps, your walking, your crouch, all that good stuff. So, with that said, that is pretty much exactly how you set up Licentia Black. So much easier than the original Licentia. And you can get a full set of hide armor out of this wardrobe. In the strong box, there's lockpicks and some other things over there. In the chest, there is some basic weapons that you can have. And then in the end table is your basic spells. And your vanity mirror. Vanity mirror is awesome. I love it. If you want to change your looks anytime in the game, you can. Now, this does take part with Helgen and gives you a different starting than Skyrim Unbound and all those other ones. I highly prefer this one over all the other startings. This one will allow you to completely skip the storyline unless you go to Helgen like normal. But slightly different than that, you need this alternative perspective to become the Dragonborn. You need to go to the Resting Pilgrim, which Helgen is completely still intact because it was never destroyed. And you need to rent a room there, and it will ask you if you want to continue and do the storyline. I believe you can say no, and it will never make you part of the Dragonborn.
Tell me what you need.
And then, of course, you have your normal selecting what you want to be. Go through here, pick whichever one you want. You can be a member of the guild, the companions. Once you do that, to exit, all you have to do, open the wooden door and walk into it. Then it's going to do all your normal stuff. It's going to load you in, and it's going to set everything up for you. Give it a minute to run all that good stuff. Game's going to be paused. There you go. And you are in the game ready to rock and roll. Couple quick things here. Always go outside to set up your religion and your survival mode, which there's a couple nice things with this one compared to the old Licentia. So survival mode, you can say yes or no to. You can say no to it as well. And then religion, you can obviously choose one of your religions. Stindo reduces damage from undead, cool. So that is all set up. Now, underneath mod configuration, there's this Connor's survival mode. They added this and I love it. You can enable drug toxicity, all this stuff. You can disable fast travel or you can enable fast travel. The one thing I never liked about survival mode was not being able to fast travel in certain cases. So that one's up to you if you want that much immersion. Same thing with the lower carry weight. I am a hoarder and I like to grab everything from playing Fallout and Fallout 4 and all that good stuff. And not being able to carry at least the normal 350 is killer sometimes. So, but if you want to play that, you absolutely can. Enable health regen, death from cold. So you will regen health with this, and then shrines also cost money. There is Winter Sun Faiths here, so you can change any of this stuff in here. Favor from praying, you can update, you can also change your favor loss over time. So if you put it to 0, your faith can only go up whenever you pray, and it will not go backwards. I usually do this in mind because I tend to forget praying, and by the time I do it, I really am not gaining anything, depending on what faith that you have. Disable apostasy is just making sure that the deity will not abandon you. Say, Stendar, if I steal something, he's not going to abandon me as my favor. He will put it down to 0, where I pretty much have no favor with him anymore, but I will not be lost to him. You can also disable the race requirements and the Gauge of Prince quest requirements, so whenever you get those, you can do them with whatever character or race that you are. One other thing to note here is violence. There is a profile system, so if you load, you can pick sane violence or ultra violence. Ultra violence means you will decapitate easily. Every single attack you can do has the chance to do that. Sane violence is pretty good. So once you do that, are you sure you want to load? Okay, there we go. So that basically makes it where everything's here, it's normal, but it's still, you have good chances to do stuff. Advancing kill moves are off, last play restrictions. So this one's pretty well set to rock and roll just the way that you want it to run. You can always change any of this how you want. One thing I always change is the camera view. I don't know why vanilla is on there. I play smart. And for the arrows, it really doesn't matter in the magic. But for camera view, you want smart. Because if you were playing predominantly always in third person, you don't want the kills cam to zoom into first person. Or if you're in first person, I personally don't want to zoom out to third person when I'm playing, because I am playing in first person the entire way. I don't want to see myself killing from outside of my body. I want to see it from first person. So I do it with smart, and it does it right every single time. And that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. You are set to rock and roll. You have all these other mods that you can go through and do your normal thing to. Few things to keep in mind. You can change any of the stuff in the CVBE. You can follower framework is pretty easy and set up in this one. Let's see, what is that one that has all the spells? I thought it was so you have Eye Harvest, which you can change, Hone Metal, Apocalypse spells, Lichdom, which is great for endgame content. There's so much awesome things with this game, missives, everything else. You can change all of the settings through here. I would try not to mess with these too much because he's pretty well got them. Whoever created this has this set up to rock and roll. Depending on which profile you choose. Everything in here. Sophia is awesome. Spell Siphon is in here. The Ultimate Dodge mod works great right out of the box. True Directional Movement. Few things here I do want to note. Target locking. You can change your target lock key, and you can change it with how long you scroll and whatnot here. So that is up to you if you want to be able to do that or not. You can take that off. Oh, I remembered one thing while I was doing that. I can't remember which one it was. So target lock. Oh, there is a really cool thing that they added with this. So you know how you can't dual wield and block. I'm pretty sure that you still cannot dual wield block. However, if you want to have a two-handed weapon and still use a spell in your left hand, you can. If you want to use a shield and get the benefits of the shield for blocking, you can have a shield on with a two-handed weapon. It still acts normal, it still has all the correct animations and stuff in there, but you can block with you can wear a shield with a two-handed weapon. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but it is available. So that is one thing I did want to know before we finish out today. And other than that, you are set to rock and roll. There are so many good armors in here that you can wear. Quality clothes, everything else that you can do in here. You can obviously go to your immersive armors and set all that stuff up. It's very fantastic how this game is set up. So, with that, we finish the video with Licentia Black, and I hope this helped. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me or message me in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And thanks so much. Have a great day.